Hello, sweet hands. Just thought I'd share with you my amazingly synchronistic day. So, got up, just minced around, had an argument with a man, which was great because I realised I was getting triggered, and then I reflected on it and realised, oh, this is my emotional stuff. It's not to do with him. So it was really nice to type up some stuff and let that go and see myself more deeply, which I ended up coming to a realization that I've got an inner monster, and it's not actually something to be scared of. It's a passionate, fiery creature that is powerful. Yeah. So I had a vision of like Blanca from Street Fighter and doing that. So I looked for loads of pictures of him and I was like, this is my spirit animal. So yeah, a fun thing happened yesterday as well. I suppose that'll go along to this. So I had a deep fear in me that there was a monster inside me, that I was a bad person or that I was like evil at my core. And I had this insight after doing kind of like a healing moment and having someone was present with me to hear what I was saying. I had this realization that maybe my mum thought I was a monster because I had like squints when I was a child, so my eyes went in loads of different directions. So it must have been quite scary for my mum to see that, like a baby coming out and the eyes going in different directions. So I had this deep feeling that maybe my mum thought I was like the devil or a monster or something. Okay, so this is strange, but this is how I'm saying it. Anyway, so I realised, oh my God, I'm not a monster. I am a kind person, and I know that because it's what I want to be. And yes, this is how I show up in the world. And I went and saw some friends yesterday and explained to them how that happened and that I think my mum might have had a fear that I was a monster. And 2 of the 5 friends was like, oh my God, my mum thought I was a monster too. So it must be a thing. Like parents maybe have these like intense fears, and they're irrational fears potentially. Like one friend said about their mum being fearful that the baby was going to come out with a massive head. The other came out premature and she looked a little bit different. So the mum was like freaked out a little bit. So wow, these things imprint on us from very, very, from the first moment that we meet the eyes of our parents. Madness. So yeah, so that's what brought me to realizing, yes, maybe there is a monster in me, but maybe it's this incredible monster that I want to embrace, and it's this fire and this passion inside me that's like, I don't want men to be fishing the sea so there's no more fish left. I don't want this to be like this. Like that drive and desire. So I went about my day after realising I was Blanca, and went to do very mundane stuff, which I was laughing about because I love pretending to be a grown-up. So I went to refill my household sprays, like all-purpose sprays, in this biodegradable, really great shop, which is just, like really good eco stuff. I don't know what the name is for them, but it's called 2050, I think. And went there, filled up, got all my stuff, and then I saw a man across the road outside the tattooist, and my body was just like, tattoo. So I like ran across the road and I was like, hello, do you do tattoos? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, you an artist? Can I see some of your stuff? Started just chatting to him, and then he just like let me have a look at his books, and I'm flicking through and I'm thinking, oh my God, I want to get Blanca on my arm. So just going into this excitement. And so I'm looking through and I find a picture of my best friend's tattoo that I used to love on her shoulder, and it was really different. It was almost like digital, like little pixelated rose, so I'd never seen anything like it, so I knew it was her. So I was like, oh my God, this is meant to be. So the guy was like, oh, I have got some space now actually. So I was like, all right then, let's get something done. So I had to go and move the car, moved it, and I've been thinking about this guy all week, which is really, well, it's not strange, it's the norm. I met him in a pub once, and I was like, hi mister, what you doing? And he looked like a scientist. And he was like, oh, well, strangely enough, I'm reading a book about vaccinations that I wrote. So he'd wrote a book, and it happened to be in this bar that he was in. It's like, that's cool. He goes, I did loads of research on vaccinations and disease and seeing if they're beneficial and stuff. And I just really wanted to talk to him about this, you know, the current climate. Just because I just want to get more info, and I'm allowed to do that. And I felt like he was very close to source, knowing the truth, because he'd done a lot of research on it personally. So I'm sat in the car, and I pull over to like park in a new place, and I'm like, is that the man? That's the bloody man. So I got out the car like I was going to say hi to a celebrity, and I'm like, you're the vaccination man. And he was like, yeah, how do you know? I was like, I came and spoke to you once when you were reading your own book in the pub. He was like, oh my God, you're that girl. Ended up having the best chat. He's doing things with alternative healing. So I gave him my card, which is wave therapy, and he does wave related therapy. So we just had this awesome connection, and I was buzzing. My body was like vibrating. So I ran back up to the tattooist. I was lying on the bench, really chilled because no one else was in there, and just got chatting to the girl behind the desk. Quite a young girl, lots of piercings and tattoos. And I was like, oh my God, is it going to hurt? And she was like, well, I wouldn't know. I'm completely numb due to medication. I was like, oh right, what medication? And you know, I said, you don't have to tell me. And then she said antidepressants, and I was like, yes, I understand. I spent 10 years on antidepressants, and I was numb, and I was on autopilot, and I couldn't feel anything. God, I got so many tattoos done in that time that I was just like, go for it, hun. It's on my ribs, you know, like that's the worst place. 9 hours, you know. So, do you want to see it? Well, I can show you half of it. There you go. So then I'm like, whoa. So I just started talking to her about energy, and I said, look, I started doing meditation, and that really helped me and helped bring me out of this like dark place where I was numb. And she said, oh, I'm a witch. And I was like, she goes, so I do kind of do meditation stuff. And I was like, oh, are you a witch? And I was like, I work with energy too. And I said, do you feel like maybe that this part of the world doesn't accept like witches as much? Anyway, had the best chat with her, really, really awesome. Went in to get this tattoo. The guy drew up something that I saw. So he'd drawn something previously that was a Mayan goddess. So she had the like Mayan pillars on her head, and she was the most beautiful thing ever, with like this pattern on her face, like very tribal, very like warrior. And so I was like, yes, I want that lady. But it's got to be small because it's going on my arm. So I got this, which is, it's Snow White. However, my friend laughed and said, oh my God. I don't think I can say the whole sentence because it's a bit crude. But he was like, oh my gosh, that's you as a child. And I know you might not believe it, but my hair is naturally like black, and I had a fringe, and my hair was exactly the same as that when I was a kid, and I had these like rosy cheeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, have I got a tattoo of my child without even thinking myself as a child? So my hair, funny, don't judge. And so I went in and I was like, I need something on the other arm to show who I am now. Like, so my fire, my powerful woman. So I was thinking, should I get Blanca? And I'm thinking, with like pointy teeth and a full-on monster, like. And I was thinking, that's a little bit scary, so I don't have to go that far. So I explained to the tattooist I'm in this place and I'm feeling fire come up and I'm feeling excited and I'm feeling like a strong woman, and I really want a tattoo to go with that on my other arm. So he drew something up, and this is what it is, but there wasn't enough time for me to get it. But I don't know if you can even see that. So obviously he put the stencil on. I was being a bit of a diva, saying I feel like it's not aligned properly, so it's important for things to be aligned for me in my experience, but you know, whatever you want in yours. So ideally I think I want it like a little bit lower to match. Anyway, so she is like a warrior woman, and she's got a hood on. So yes, it was a very excitable day, and I got some amazing chocolate, which I don't know where it is right now, but it is the coolest chocolate ever. I'll get it. It's got like pink all over it, and I don't know where it is. Oh, I don't know where it is. Maybe it's in my pocket. Yeah, here it is. So it feels like one of the Willy Wonka bars, Tony's, and it is so thick. Oh, look at it. It's got a cool packaging, and this is the and it has really random shapes, so when you break off bits you get like different shaped pieces, so they're not massive. Circle, and it's got pieces of raspberry and popping candy in it. It's delicious. So yeah, I just thought I'd share with you the wonder of the week, the day. Feels like a week. Hope you're all well, and speak soon.